I'm ready to earn my life's work. Yeah. I'm ready to talk about church hurt. Anything you've been through it. I'm here to tell you that you can do it. Sit down with Pastor D and his team. They're here to help you reach your dreams. Emerge.
Right into.
God bless you, Emerge community. God bless you on this Friday evening, Friday night live, right? I'm excited tonight coming to you with a special edition on stewardship. So y'all throw it up in the comments, Stewardship Edition, and get everybody you can on here. Share it, like it. We getting ready to talk about money, y'all. So I need y'all to jump on here. We speaking in tongues. We doing all that great stuff. But are we good stewards of what God has given us to manage? We've been focusing on our gifts. We've been doing some amazing work around Emerge. And tonight will be no different. I am absolutely honored to bring an amazing guest and team member. Listen, this young lady that I'm getting ready to bring on is just absolutely phenomenal. And you all don't want to miss this edition of Stewardship. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest on tonight. Kendra Willis is a nationally recognized financial wellness coach, financial literacy trainer, team builder, CEO of Willis Insurance and Financial Services in San Joaquin County. And listen, has a financial center. Y'all don't get this. Y'all gonna get this today. Over 15 years in the financial industry, Kendra prides herself in helping people of color in the urban communities to become their own money managers by providing free financial educational tools and some often forgotten things that we need to be able to take a look at. Also, the team leader of an amazing team that I just happen to be a part of and honored to be a part of Team Onyx. That's literally changing lives one family at a time. So Emerge community tonight, help me welcome Miss Kendra Willis.
Hey,
Kendra.
thanks, Doc. Hey, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me
Oh
tonight.
my God. I'm so excited to have you. I've been trying to figure this out. I said, I got to get you on this show. I got to get you talking to the Emerge community. We
Absolutely.
have we have some amazing people that are gifted, that are
Wow.
anointed. I mean, just good people.
Wow.
But let's be real. In this pandemic, it's been challenging times, and many of us can testify that God has been good to us.
Absolutely.
But when we get it, what do we do with it? And
Exactly.
tonight, I want you to speak candidly, speak prophetically. Let's talk about getting to the other side of the
Yes.
money.
Yes.
So tell us a little
Absolutely.
bit about yourself, and then let's jump in.
Well, let me just give you a little bit of information about me, Doc. I'm so honored to be here on tonight. You know, I've heard you speak nothing but good things about your Emerge family. And so just by way of you, I feel like I'm a part of the Emerge family too. And you know what? I
Absolutely.
love the name. I love the name because that's the one thing that we as a people need to do. We need to emerge and evolve. I've been in the financial industry. I'm going into my 15th year. So I'm about a year shy of 15 years. I got into this business and I got into this industry kind of by chance and circumstance. I grew up in East Oakland. My grandparents were my everything. They had a large family and they looked like they were doing well. My grandmother was a good steward of the church. She was on time with her tithes and she was always giving to the people. But you know what, Doc? They died poor.
Wow.
And they died back to back. And
Wow.
when my grandfather died, and I realized that he had been taken advantage of with his finances for so many years, I made a vow. I said, you know what, Kendra, it's time for you to learn how to make money work for you and then teach other people how to make money work for them so that you don't have to see this happen so often. All too
Right.
often, we work and we die and not much in between. We gotta stop that. We gotta stop. So it's time for us to evolve. So a couple of days after my grandfather died, I sold my staffing agency and took a deep dive into the financial industry with no financial literacy training, no financial literacy education. And I sought out every license I could get my hands on. I read every book. I went to every class. I decided that I was going to strategically look for the solutions to save my people. And so here we are 15 years later. I'm still here. I'm still helping. I'm one family at a
Wow.
time.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I heard you kind of shift gears. You sold your staffing business. So
Yes.
it sounds to me, and I'm gonna just be emergish tonight, if you will.
Okay, cool.
It
Yeah.
sounds to me like you literally have the gift of business.
Oh,
Some
absolutely.
individuals have the mind of administration, right?
Hmm.
And know how to do a business in their sleep.
Yeah.
It's literally God has gifted you to be able to do this, but you knew you needed to make a shift.
Yeah.
You had a
And
full company.
I had a full thriving business. I was the youngest staffing agency owner. I was in my early 20s at the time, youngest staffing agency owner in the county. Actually, the only Black staffing agency in the history of the county. But for me, it wasn't about me. Money comes and money goes. You can find money anywhere if you know what you're doing. So I wasn't worried about the income. It was about the outcome for me. I'm on a
Mm,
mission, Doc. I'm on a mission. I'm tired of seeing us always get the short end of the stick. We've been getting the short end of the stick since we came over here on the boat. And look, and so many of us are still carrying those slavery
mm,
tendencies on our backs. We look, when it comes to Black folks, let's just talk about Black people in general. My Black and my brown brothers and sisters, we kind of very similar. We are active spenders, right? We know how to
yeah,
actively spend that money, but we are
right.
passive savers. We got to make some changes. Or according to the US Census Bureau, if we don't make changes, the average median income of the Black family, Black wealth will be at zero by the end of
Mm,
2050. I
oh
don't know
my
about you,
God.
Doc, but I ain't trying to walk around being worth nothing.
No, no. And
Nothing.
I think I'm challenged tonight, Kendra, because there's so many biblical texts that tell us we're the head, not the tail. We're the
Right.
lender and not the borrower, right?
Right.
That the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. I mean, I could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
There's one topic in the Bible that's spoke of but not talked about very often is money.
Right.
Money is
Right.
mentioned in the Bible so much, but we shy away from it because of integral issues, how it's been
Mm-hmm.
handled around the church,
Mm-hmm.
all these things. How can we even begin the process to decompute our minds, to defrag our minds from all that stuff of slavery and start operating in a kingdom mentality and
Mm-hmm.
really start walking in who God has called us to be as it relates to stewardship and money.
Look, one of the things I recognize is that what separates the wealthy from the rest of us is a simple financial literacy education. Until
Mm,
these pastors are willing to have real discussions around wealth building as it pertains to the individual that's sitting in front of them and not just to the few, not just to those who work within the church, but amongst
right,
everybody. The church has to open their doors and allow the people who do the work to come in and do the work. See, a lot of times we believe that our pastors know everything, right?
Mhm.
Your pastor also needs to see a doctor when he's sick, right? You
Right,
can pray all day, and God can and will heal, but God gave us all good sense, our
right,
senses, and that surgeon's hands must be blessed. So the same way you need to see a doctor when you're sick, the same way you go on a diet when you need to lose some weight, you also need to see a money doctor to help you fix your money woes and your money ills, right?
come
You know,
on, money
and,
doctor.
and so I need for the pastors to sometimes step aside and let the financial educators come in the doors, come in the building and teach what maybe they don't know. We all are human, and there's some things that we all don't know. If I'm trained, if this is my specific field of expertise, let me come inside, open the doors. Now we're in a situation where the building is closed, right? The building is
Right,
closed, but the Zoom site is working.
right,
Church can happen anywhere, anytime now. So what we're doing on our team and within my company, my team is called Team Onyx. We're a multicultural team, just like the Stone. We may have a black base, but we're multicultural.
right,
And we want to come inside of the churches and give free financial literacy, educational training. We do it for free. We're not charging anything. We're giving the game away. We need
right,
to come inside these churches, and they need to open the doors, and they need to let us talk to everybody and give you the tools you need to build that simple, basic financial foundation. See, what we're taught is how to balance a checkbook. That's not the be all end all, right? That
right,
doesn't have anything to do with taxes. That doesn't have anything to do with debt management. That doesn't have anything to do with building a solid and stable financial foundation. People aren't teaching us these things. Our mamas didn't know. Big mama didn't know. She put all her money under the mattress. You know what I'm saying? So nobody has really taught us how to manage money, and then we're so critical when we're not doing right by the money, and the first thing we tell people is fix your credit. Well, you know what, you
mm,
wouldn't have to fix your credit if your money was fixed. The only reason
wow,
your credit is bad is because your money was bad. You couldn't pay the bill. If you had the cash to pay the bill to begin with, you wouldn't have to fix your credit. And guess what, if your money is right, you don't even need credit.
wow,
Right?
wow,
Credit is a form of borrowing. Credit is
yeah,
a form of going into debt. And if your money is right, you don't have to have credit. You don't
right,
need a FICO score if you have the money to buy the house, right? So we got to teach people, just like building a house, you have to build your financial foundation brick by brick, layer by layer, stone by stone. You have to build it. A solid financial literacy education can really change the trajectory of not only a person's life, but their great grandchildren's lives. There's a difference between the Kennedys and the Johnsons, and it ain't nothing but the dollar amount that's in the bank account. That's it.
right, right. So you mean to tell me more money is not the answer? It's not just the answer. Of course, more
No.
money. You know how the Bible says money answereth all things, right?
Right.
So most people think if they make more money, that that will solve their problems. But if you have some issues going on in your thinking, in your
Yes.
financial strategy,
Yes.
and your savings, how you're
Yes.
handling money, because
Absolutely.
you said a word that most people don't even know. Checkbook. Most folk don't even carry a check anymore.
No. No.
They don't
No.
carry check. They
Right.
slide till that bad boy beeps the wrong way.
Exactly. And people are not living from a budget. People don't even, I sit with people all of the time, and they don't know their retirement number. They don't know what it takes to get them out the building one day. They don't know how much their income is. So if you're not really 100% sure about your income, you're sure not going to be sure about your outcome. So people don't know where their money is going. I talk to people all the time. Fly is all outdoors. You've seen the people flashing money on Facebook, and the minute they're dead, their family is frying fish. We
Yeah.
don't understand money in general. We don't understand how taxes is tied to money. We don't understand how life insurance is tied to money. We don't understand generational wealth. We got to stop waiting for grandmama to die and then fighting over her wigs and her dresses. We over here fighting over who gonna get the skillets. In white families, when grandmama dies, there's $2 million and there's a lawyer coming to read the will. I ain't never been to a reading of the will in a black family. I just haven't. I mean,
No, we're hooked on GoFundMe. We're hooked on raising the money through car
yes,
washes and slanging
yes,
chicken,
yes,
and then getting mad when family members don't contribute. And
yes.
the
And let me tell you, Doc, the worst is when I see a GoFundMe for a prominent pastor. That is
yeah,
the worst.
yeah,
That to
yeah.
me is I've had pastors who have laid hands on me, and then the minute they die, right? And most of them not even dying from natural causes. Pastors don't die of old age anymore. They're dying before their time. They
Mm,
die, and then up comes the GoFundMe page. What are we doing,
God,
people? What are we
help,
doing that the
help us,
man of God
help us.
didn't have a savings account? Because that's what you're telling me. You're telling me you didn't have $10,000 set to the side. You didn't have life insurance, but you're preaching and you're teaching and you're supposed to be educating me. This is why I say sometimes even the pastor needs a little help, right? You need an expert to come in, because we've got to stop allowing our clergy, our men and women of God, to fall out dead in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s, because now 70 is like 45. You
Right,
shouldn't die. You shouldn't just fall out and
right,
die at
right.
70. And
So,
then to die with such shame. Where's the dignity? Where's the
so
dignity?
it's not there. So let's go with that piece first, and then we're gonna run through the church, right?
Let's talk
So
about it.
the pastor, I've seen it. I didn't really grow up in church.
Okay.
I was CME,
Okay.
Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter.
Okay.
I,
Okay. Well, I was
uh,
Kojic. I was
yeah,
Kojic.
so I mean we're both Kojic, so you know the deal. But what
Yes,
I
sir.
saw was I saw a pastor give his entire life to the church.
Absolutely.
Entire life. And I think that's awesome, right? I'm not taking
Right.
away from that. I think that's absolutely awesome. But when it's time for him to go home to be with the Lord,
Mm,
he literally dies in office. Like
mm.
he stays in the pulpit because he can't retire unless he was
Terrible.
bivocational. If he
That's
was
terrible.
bivocational, then back when baby boomers had pensions, which is rare anymore.
Pensions are
So
gone. Phased out.
So now you got young millennial preachers excited about being full-time ministry, and you get a salary and you could pay your bills, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't have any kind of retirement. Most
Mm-mm.
pastors die in office because they
Mm-hmm.
need that check to be able
Mm-hmm.
to take care of themselves and their wife. And then let's just kill it off. Then the pastor died, they bump the first lady aside and don't even know if she has the means to make it.
She got to go. She's cast to the side. Let me tell you, I do a lot of research. None of this that I'm talking about is just off the cuff. This is all research. This is all trial and error. This is me studying and being strategic and trying to figure out, how can I help? Where can I help? There was a study done back by Pastoral Inc. And they're pastoralinc.com, and they did a study of over 100,000 pastors. And it was stated that 57% of pastors know and believe that they don't receive a livable wage. Okay.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and and more than 90% of American pastors don't have a retirement plan.
Say that
A
number
reti-
again.
90%
Wow.
don't have a retirement plan. 71% of American churches have no plans for their pastor to even receive a periodic sabbatical. So not only are you underpaying me, congregation, who's always thinking I'm living good, not only are you underpaying me, you're underpaying me. You don't give me a vacation. I don't get to spend time with my wife and children. I don't have a retirement, so I'm going to die out here. Um, Something has to give. And you know what I say has to give is we've got to start teaching pastors that there is a such thing. There is a such thing as a portable retirement plan. So that
Wow.
retirement plan does not, you don't see a lot of people think if you don't have that pension at work, then that's the be all end all for you, right? Or if you don't have the opportunity to have a 401k because maybe your church isn't large, you don't have that 457 plan, or you don't have an IRA, you have a small church, there's only 25 people in there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know you have a heart to help, but in the end, you still have to help yourself too. Still have to
Right.
help your family too. You still
Right.
should be wanting to leave generational wealth for your family too. And
Right.
so there are portable retirement plans that a pastor can take out on himself and his wife together. It could be paid for by either him or the church, however he wants to set that up. And that plan will follow him wherever he goes. If he decides to leave the church early and take a job, no matter what he does, that plan will follow him. Now, another thing is we don't understand money, so much so that we don't think the way the wealthy people think. Wealthy people don't like paying taxes. So in
Right.
addition to there being a portable retirement plan, that portable retirement plan can be tax-free.
So you mean to tell me I can get in the game like 45 and pay 750 a year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because wealthy people, and see, there's outrage, there's fake outrage on all these news channels, and oh my God, 45 only paid $750. Let me put y'all on some game. Before 45 became the president, there was a system in place. 45 had to be run, his information, his background, he was looked at inside and out. Now, it wasn't shared with the public, right? But everybody knows that 45 doesn't pay taxes. Now, the other people who release their numbers, what generally will happen is you're prepared to run for presidency probably 4 years before you actually do it, right? So what happens is 4 years before your presidential run, you kind of stop playing ball the way you used to play, and you do some things differently so that when they say what you've been doing out loud, it aligns with what the American public wants to hear. None of them pay taxes. Wealthy
Wow.
people don't pay taxes. Okay,
Wow.
we have we have plans that JFK used.
Wow.
Tax-free retirement account, TFRA. Y'all say TFRA. Write it down. Put it on a piece of paper. JFK, TFRA. Families still have money from where he had his money in a tax-free retirement account. Um,
Why don't we know about this? What
because
where is the gap?
because we're not paying anybody to manage our money. We don't sit with financial advisors. We don't sit with financial planners, right? And so when I learned that, and here I am in school, getting this financial advising license, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't want a license that I have to charge my people $200 an hour to sit with me because they're not going to do it. Let
Right.
me re-strategize. Let me change my trajectory, my direction. I don't want to be a financial advisor. I have all the licenses, but you know what I want to be is a financial educator. Let me have
Right.
the ability to educate you for free, because if I have to charge George, John, and everybody, they're not going to pay me $200 for the advice. They'd
Right.
rather roll the dice and take their chances. They'd rather do what they saw somebody else do, because everybody's got that friend who knows exactly what you should do. And so and so what we do as a people, we do two things when we think we're working towards something. We get a little extra money. We get a stimulus check or a little extra tax money. We start working on fixing our credit. We hire somebody for about 3 months to fix that bad credit, and then we stop.
Right.
The second thing we do, so we start fixing our credit. That's the first thing. And then when we really think we popping, then we start playing in the stock market. Y'all, let me tell you something. You putting $100 in Amazon is not gonna make you wealthy. Okay, you playing. First of all, you never studied the stock market. You really don't know how it works. You don't know what the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones. A lot of people really don't. They'll put some money in and say, oh, girl, I'm buying stocks. I watch it on Facebook all the time. We're all buying stocks. We're spending 100 here, 300 there. We have no idea what we're doing. And that's not what the big boys are not doing that. Yes, Warren Buffett has a ton of money in stocks. Warren Buffett knows what he's doing. He's filthy
Right.
rich. He can take a
Right.
loss today, right? You don't. You need to sit down with somebody who can show you the strategy. But since you're not going to pay $200 an hour, guess what? I don't charge any money per hour, and neither does the people on my team. So we sit down with you. We see where you are. First of all, you want to do all this big stuff with your money, but you don't know where you are.
Right.
And what's the dollar amount you're trying to get to? I need to know
Right.
what you're trying to do and by how long. Okay, so you want $1 million in 10 years. Let me show you the numbers. Let me show you there are illustrations. There are companies that have been in business for hundreds of years who have processes in place that can help you become wealthy. But you got to do something different other than what you've been doing.
Whoa. Whoa, because you dropping nuggets and knowledge, and some of these folks in the comments is going crazy right now. So I I want to backtrack just a little bit. You literally just said, if I want $1 million
Hmm.
in 10 years, let
Uh-huh.
me show you the numbers.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
saying you literally have a strategic plan to put this in place.
Yes. Yes. There are plans and processes in place. But guess what? You're going to have to give up something, right? And it might be something small. It might be as simple as I'm going to give up this $10 a day Starbucks habit. You're standing in line at Starbucks every day for $10 a day, yet your baby doesn't have any life insurance and you don't have a retirement plan. But guess what?
Oh my
That
goodness.
$10 a day is $300 a month. And if I were to take that $300 a month from you and show you how to place it in, let's just say, an 8% interest bearing account, and you said, I'm going to put this $300 a month up. I'm 30 years old. Let's see what happens when I'm 60. Now you're 60, you've got $447,000 just sitting to the side. And you really, all you've given up is a cup of coffee.
Kendra, you killing us right now. I need you to. We got to be able to digest this, right? Uh, you you kill. Look how bad you want it. I mean, you
That's the
killing us
question.
right now,
How
right?
bad do you want it? Do you want
So,
your babies to have something later on in life? Stop buying those kids $200 tennis shoes and they
woo.
can barely walk. How about
So
that?
you showed me. I mean, I didn't bring you on and not do my own homework, right?
Right.
You showed me how you took a 20-year-old and put them in position to be a millionaire by the
Hmm.
time they were 40. I saw it for myself.
Absolutely. Yes.
And when I saw that, I said, well, man, it's late in the game for me. You know, I'm 47 years old. I'm looking at 13 to 15 years before I'm able to really even start thinking about retirement. But you laid it out, showed me the system.
Absolutely.
I know my numbers now.
Yep.
I'm about to dance in this room. I
Well, I
know
need
my numbers
everybody
now.
to know their numbers. That's the thing. Everybody has a number. I see Miss Akia on here. She's saying, say that again for the folks in the back. Guess what, Miss Akia? We got to find your number. Okay.
Oh,
Everybody,
I got a Kia's numbers. We got her on live.
okay, everybody needs to know their number. We all have a number. There is a dollar amount, right, that it's going to take for you to feel comfortable enough to not have to get up and go to that job, that jail operating as a business, that paycheck to paycheck place that has you just over broke, right? Because that job, listen, people, your job, that is not your dream. That is somebody else's dream. When you go and you get hired at Macy's, you will never meet Mr. Macy. Okay.
My
You
God.
when you that there is a family somewhere who owns the color blue of and you're coloring with that crayon. Okay. You have to figure out what are your dreams and how do I get in a position, right? How can I position myself to have the kind of wealth that I know I desire and that I know I'm worthy of? You got to stop with the same old processes and you got to do something different. You're going to have to do something different to achieve something different. And the stuff that I'm trying to achieve, I've never seen it done in my own family. So I'm the first one. And when you're the first one, it looks crazy to people. It looks
Yeah,
crazy because
yeah,
I can't be at the birthday parties. I can't be at everybody's wedding. I can't be there when your baby's getting baptized because I have a plan in place and I'm right now looking out for grandchildren that I don't even have, right?
right.
Every and so you have a number. And it doesn't matter how crazy your number seems, there is a way for you to get to that number. If that number is $2.5 million, you can get there. You can achieve it. You just need to know where you are and you need to know what it's going to take to get there. And that's why I said, going back to the pastors, we have to make sure that our pastors know their numbers, right? We have to make sure that pastors can stay a pastor. One out of every 10 pastors, they're not even gonna I'm sorry, only one out of every 10 pastors will retire as a pastor. The other nine gonna have to go find a job somewhere because there's not enough there for them. So we have to make sure that the men and women of God who are called to spiritually take care of us are also financially kept too. I want to initiate and integrate into churches a method and a way for churches to sow into their pastor by making sure that his or her retirement strategy is handled. That shouldn't even be on his mind.
And I think this is crucial. And I want to pause here because we have a lot of pastors. And then I want to trickle down because we have the praise and worship leader, right?
Yes, yes,
Needs a retirement plan, works on a
yes,
job, has that 401k that we're going to talk about in a minute. Then you
right.
got the musicians. You got
Absolutely.
musicians that are working for check to check. I mean, we have some musicians that literally play at 4 and 5 churches just to be able to pay their bills,
Right.
but there's not a solid retirement plan. There's a question in there. Does this plan work for retirees? Listen, we're gonna get you online. We're gonna get
Yeah.
you online. That's Mother Davis there. And
Hey,
so
mother.
so we have all these individuals that they're salaried or they're 1099s at the church. They
Hmm.
work the church, but they don't have a solid retirement plan. There's not a match program, and I'm not dogging anybody or any
Right.
denomination or
Absolutely
any
not.
of it, but
No.
we're big enough. We're
Yes.
big enough
Yes.
to make a difference, to go to whoever we need to go to and say, hey, look, we have 1 million people, over a
Right.
million people in our group. What do you
Hmm.
have to offer as a match or whatever the case? But they don't have to do that anymore. They can come right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what else you touched on, Doc? You talked about, for instance, the musicians. Okay. What happens to a musician whose hands don't work anymore? Let's not even
Oh
talk about
my God.
retirement. You know what
Oh
I'm
my.
saying? Or whose vocal cords, they have to go out and have a vocal surgery. These plans that I'm talking about, these tax free retirement strategies, these TFRA plans, will also cover them in the case of a critical, chronic, or terminal illness, right? And so,
Stop there. Stop there. You got
yes,
to explain that.
okay,
You got to
okay,
touch on that just a little bit. Give us an
okay.
example.
Okay, so an example, and I'm going to give you one of my own examples. Okay, I put a lady in a plan, tax-free retirement plan, healthy lady, healthy, young, and we're thinking about retirement. That's all she was thinking about. I just want to have some money for retirement. Doc, less than 60 days later, she wasn't feeling well. She went to the hospital and she found out that she had breast cancer. She had to have a double mastectomy. Now, she had only been in this plan for about 60 days. She made one full payment, not two. Um, and so the living benefit with the plan says that if she had a critical, chronic, or terminal illness, they would advance her up to 90% of the amount of the plan she was paying into. She hadn't paid into it all the way yet. She made one payment, a couple $100.
Oh my
And
God.
she called me and she told me about her illness. And I said, let me call them. I called them and they said, we're going to get the check out to you, Kendra, so that you can hand deliver it to her at whatever hospital she's at. I found out what hospital she was at and I took her a check for $250,000. Here's a lady that made a $150 investment. 60 days later, she has a check for $250,000 in her hands. I delivered the check with some flowers and I went on about my way. 3 weeks later, I gave her a phone call just to check on her. How you feeling? How you doing? How's your treatments? I hear all this noise in the back and I'm feeling bad. I said, well, I'm going to let you go because it sounds like you're in treatment. I'm thinking she's at chemo or something. She says, oh, no, honey, that's the wind. I'm on the beach in Hawaii. Said, she said that cancer was nothing but stress. She said, I
Wow.
got the surgery. I did what needed to be done. She said, but now I have that $250,000. My bills are paid. My medical needs have been met. I'm going to continue on with my treatments. She said, but I feel awesome. And then I said, well, turn on your camera so I can let me see the water real quick, because I'm in my office. Let me feel it. But the main thing is, we're in addition to retirement, there are so many things that are a lot of these younger people aren't ready for that will come during one's lifespan, right? If you're lucky enough, if you're blessed enough to live a long and prosperous life, things come up, roadblocks come up, illnesses come up. We want to make sure that people are covered from the cradle to the grave. We want to
My
make
God.
sure that if you live too long or you die too soon, the money is there and it's yours.
So you're telling me that we need to stop just getting those what I call final expense plans. We're satisfied with a final expense plan that says if something happens to me, my family will be able to put me away, and that's all it is. But what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about, I heard three key components, and you help me if I'm wrong. I heard retirement,
Yes, sir.
I heard death benefit, and then I
Absolutely.
heard uh, a living benefit, which
Yep.
was the additional medical piece. And
Yes.
so that to me sounds like three components, three building blocks of
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth. Now, stop me now if
Absolutely.
I'm wrong.
No, you're right. And the coup de grace, the best thing about it all is the tax free. See, a lot of people don't know your retirement plan at work, it's tax deferred. Tax deferred is a fancy word for tax when you need it, tax when you use it, right? And your retirement plan at work has a whole bunch of stipulations on it. Stipulation number one, you got to be 59 and a half in order to use it properly, right? So
Wow.
what happens to the young lady that has been showing up to that job and now she's 29 or 30 and she's ill? She needs some of that money. Guess what? She's got to beg for it. She's got to show that she has a hardship. She's got to write some letters. She's got to call HR. She's got to jump through fire. And then when they finally release it to her, when they finally release it, they're going to penalize you because you're not old enough to have your own money. How can somebody tell me I'm not old enough to have my own money? Second of all, not only are you going to penalize me, you're going to tax me. And third of all, you're going to make me pay it back out of my paycheck at work. So you've been taxed, you've been penalized, and then you're on a payment plan to pay back the money you've used. That's called triple dipping. And that's how Uncle Sam treats the average American person. People, this is why your grandmother and your grandfather never were able to fully make it the way they wanted to. This is why your mom and your dad worked so many years and you just couldn't understand. You say they make the money. You know, you've been at the post office 40 years. I don't understand what's going on. People, this is why you see people in their 70s and their 80s saying, welcome to Walmart.
Yeah.
It's not that they didn't want to do the right thing. It's just that nobody knocks on our doors and shows us what to do. Nobody.
So you're speaking to a lot of the emerged folks now, because a lot of these folks on here tonight, like I saw Niecy Johnson on a little while ago. Niecy Johnson is a Black entrepreneur, extremely gifted and talented, and they're business owners. God gave them an idea. They birthed that idea. They go into business for themselves, and now they have to cover themselves, right?
Right.
They have to get the things necessary to be able to cover themselves. So whether they're at work with that 401k, that taxed triple tax account that may or may not make money, is literally a crapshoot, a roll of the dice.
Yep.
But you have something or we have something that doesn't get taxed. That right there just took me out.
No age requirements. You can
No
use it
age
as
requirement.
You can use it as collateral. So you can use it as collateral without even having to pull from it. If you are buying a house, you could show that plan and say, look, I've got $100,000 sitting over here. You can use it as collateral without even having to pull the money from it. You've got those critical
Whoa.
Oh, I forgot to mention that, huh?
Yeah, because Kendra, you dropping money bombs on us.
Yeah. So I mean, the plan is versatile.
So you're saying, because everybody's thinking the traditional way, I got to get this 30%, to be able to put this. But you're saying, because and I grabbed it real quick. My policy has a face value. You're telling me that is collateral. I could show it to you, and that's good enough?
Yes, you should be able to show it to the banks as collateral. It is an asset. That plan is an asset, right? You have a certificate. You have a certificate when you have that plan in your hand. Sort of the same as if you went out and bought a timeshare, right? Now you've got a deed, you've got a certificate, you're a shareholder. So the plan, it wasn't designed for me and you, Doc, right?
Exactly.
It was designed for John McCain, Senator John McCain and JFK, and it was designed for those people. And because it was designed as a way, strictly as a way for people to shelter their taxes, to allow their taxes to money to grow under the radar. That's what most of the people could care less about the life insurance. They're just trying to grow their money off the radar. If you don't believe me, people, everybody that's on this Emerge Network webinar, if you don't believe me, Google Warren Buffett and index plans. And you will see that Warren Buffett plans to leave a good percentage of his money in death to his wife through index plans, because he doesn't want her to have to play at the stock market. He wants her to have a for sure, easygoing 15% interest that she doesn't have to manage, and for her money to constantly compound itself, and for her not to have to pay taxes. It's a way to never outlive your money.
Who gives 15%? I mean,
15%.
I know savings accounts. I have them, and I get 0.00025. It take me 10 years to make $40. I
Listen,
just
my daughter is 20. I fund all of my kids' accounts. I've been funding my kids' accounts since they were kids. And today I was looking at her Wells Fargo bank statement. In the past 90 days, she's earned 2 cents in interest, right? From her Wells Fargo. I mean, I'm putting money in that thing. She's earned 2 cents in interest. However, this year, during a pandemic, okay, past 12 months, during a pandemic, in her tax-free retirement account, and yes, my daughter is 20 with a tax-free retirement account. So is my 18-year-old, because I play the game the way the other people play.
right.
But in her tax-free retirement account, she's during a pandemic so they went 12 months, October to October. So between March and October, we've been in a pandemic. Between October through March of last year, we weren't in a pandemic. So October to October, our annual percentage rate has been 12.5%, even
Wow.
during the pandemic.
That is bananas. I mean, even during a pandemic. So it's not like what happened 2 weeks ago where a tweet went out.
Mhm.
We won't get into that. But a
Right.
tweet went out and it literally dropped the stock market 370 something percent.
Crashed the stock market. And
Crashed
not
it.
only did it crash the stock market, it crashed some of your 401k plans. You just didn't check it out. And
That's what I was getting to. From a tweet,
yes,
it impacted your
yes,
future. Now,
your livelihood.
this is not the
Yes,
vote edition, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there for folk to
yes,
understand that
yes.
your life literally is in the hands of other people and tell you, and I feel God now, take control
Mm-hmm,
of your financial situation,
mm-hmm,
put some of the building blocks in place, and
mm-hmm.
now you're starting to see your money compound towards
Yep,
your number.
yep.
Yee.
And guess what? And guess what, Doc? So there's this thing called the CARES Act, and that's also been flying under the radar. So I talked earlier about the fact that if you generally pull your company sponsored retirement plan before age 59 and a half, you're penalized and taxed and then forced to pay it back. Well, there's this thing right now, guys, called the CARES Act that is allowing you, because of this crazy pandemic and the crazy times, allowing you to draw money from that retirement account, from that 401k, from that 457, from that 403b. You can withdraw from that account penalty free. Okay.
Penalty free.
Penalty free. Doesn't matter how old you are. Now, those accounts are never going to be tax free. They're all taxable. But guess what? You get to spread the taxes over 3 years or push them off for 3 years. So here's my thought process, and here's what I've been telling my clients or guiding my clients to do. You take that money from your retirement account at work, or at least a portion of it. I'm not saying you take it all. You take it penalty free while you can, because you probably got a long way to go before you're 59 and a half. And in this crazy world, in these times, you might need to get your hands on some of that money, right? So you take some of that money and you're going to put that money into your regular checking or savings account. Hey, you might even put some in a drawer in your house. You're going to use a bit of that money to start funding the new account. And in that new account, you're going to make up the difference of the taxes that you're going to be forced to pay 3 years from now.
There
So
you
now
go.
you have 36 months to make up in interest what you might have to pay in taxes 3 years from now. And then you can withdraw that money, just a portion of your interest, to handle your taxes 3 years from now. But within 3 years, you've made that money back. All your money is not subjected to the stock market, and you have a little bit of change somewhere that you can reach for. We are living in Armageddon type of times, okay?
For real.
You better have some money somewhere that is liquid. Your 401k is not liquid. You saw what happened to the toilet tissue in March and April. Now is the time, people. If you don't have it today, Tomorrow morning, you need to be in Costco. You need to be stocking up on your water. You need water from the floor to the ceiling, okay? You need your toilet tissue. You need all of your basic stuff. You need to pull those credit reports and see who you owe. You need to start working on that. But you also need to have some money in a place that's not going to be affected by the down stock market. You may not ever see Social Security. Your president has completely put a pause on the Social Security tax. Okay,
Wow.
there is a pause. The Social Security tax has been paused all of this month. Will continue to be paused throughout December 31st. If a certain person becomes the president again next year, he may continue and just do away with that Social Security tax. Period. And that Social Security tax will affect you later on in life, having access to a Social Security check and the same Medicare benefits that your mother and your grandmother had. Now's the time to make sure you can fund your own lifestyle.
Kendra, drop a quick nugget about the 6% that's going back on some folks' check right now, and they don't know what that is.
Yeah, so that 6%, that 6% is what you are supposed to pay into Social Security every month, right? Every pay period. So every pay period, there is a Social Security tax per se that pays for Social Security and Medicare. Your president has paused that benefit that tax is no longer. It's paused from now until December 31st. So until January, actually. So what that means is if he becomes president, his goal is to do away with that tax, period. Right? So if you're getting that extra 6% into your check every single pay period, what you're doing is you're putting your Social Security benefit in your wallet. There is enough money in the Social
You're
Security
spending it
pot.
now. You're spending it now.
You're spending your listen, your young self, the self you are today, is responsible for your older self, the self you're going to be tomorrow. If you don't have the money put up for your older self, you're going to be standing in the line waiting for somebody to bag you some old fruit.
Oh my God. Listen, I want to let you keep going, Kendra. We got a little bit more time, but I want these folks to know that they can either go to Emerge Network, uh, emergelive.network, click the stewardship tab. You can set up an appointment there, or you can
Yep.
go straight to this email, Kendra Willis, or the telephone number is there. Listen, we don't want to just talk about it, we want to be about it. This
Right.
is a good time to develop your building blocks. And I saw, I think that was Tam Wu that came on, and she was wondering how to access that. And so you just laced her with the CARES Act. Listen, we want to do a personal finance strategy on you. So set
Yep.
up an appointment with Kendra, or go to the Emerge Live Network page, hit the stewardship button. Let's get you in. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. We
Yeah.
want to give you access to this kind of information so that our people
Mm-hmm.
can start building generational wealth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what we do on an individual basis is called a PFS, personal finance strategy. That is a one-on-one Zoom meeting that's going to take place. And in that meeting, we spend about 45 minutes outlining a strategy to help you build a stronger financial foundation. It is a no strings attached appointment. I don't want anything from you other than your time. I just want to help show you what you can do to go from where you are today to where you wish to be tomorrow. You have my number. You are all a part of the Emerge Network. You can set an appointment there. You can send me a text. You can text me tonight and say appointment. and I promise you I will get back to you, and I will get with you very soon, and we'll make it happen. I want to just say this right here. Dr. Levon Davis is unheard of, before his time, and unlike any other. No, it's the truth. I've had the hardest time trying to connect with churches and but now is a new day, right? New
Right.
times, new times. We're in pandemic times. Pandemic times call for different strategies. And Dr. Davis, all he wants to do is help. He has this heart of gold. Every day he's thinking of how he can help the people. So together we have a plan in place to help people emerge, grow,
Come on.
and build.
Come through. Come through. Oh my God. I'm outdone tonight. This information is absolutely amazing. And we want to see the people of God blessed. Listen, when you get through speaking in tongues and you hungry, you want to go to that restaurant, you want to make sure that card don't beep on you. That you're able to be able to bless individuals and do the things that literally God has called you to do. And Emerge Live tonight, I beseech you. I got to talk like Paul now. I beseech you, Emerge community. We make confessions that say, I'll never be broke another day in my life. And we have the faith and we believe it. But can I give this to you tonight? God would always give instructions when he wanted somebody to do something. He gave them the ability to be able to build the ark, but he gave them instructions. He laid it out, told them what material he wanted to use, how big he wanted it, the poles. He didn't want nobody to touch the box, what you would wear when you carried the box. Listen, we have all the theological, spiritual understanding down, but now we're getting the instructions to do something that he's called us to do, be the head and not the tail. And I want to speak to the one that you've been saying it. I'm going to be the lender and not the borrower. Well, I'm telling you that the strategy has been laid out. Tonight, just scratch the surface of what can be done in your life and in your family to build generational wealth. But it all begins with your appointment. It all begins with that consultation that's going to sit down and take a look at your numbers. Can I tell you, don't run from your numbers tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Don't run from them. Don't run from them. We get call ID in the Black community. We were excited about call ID because we
We were.
knew we knew when a 1-800 number came, that was a bill collector. We wasn't answering that. And some of us now, we got do not answer on the caller ID. We got blocked. we got the little blocker app because
Right.
we don't want them folks, and we're running. We
Mm-hmm.
need to stop running. Let's
Absolutely.
face let's face some of the damage we created. Let's correct it before it's too late. Let's build the blocks necessary so that we can walk in the generational health. We gotta, that's it, Britta. We gotta follow the
The
instructions.
instructions.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it. So let's put that up there one more time. Again, you can go to www.emergelive.network, hit the stewardship tab, and you'll be able to pick your own appointment. The times are there, and we'll make sure that you get seen. Or you can go. Kendra said you can text her tonight. Help!
Look,
Text
we're,
her
we're here
tonight.
to help. We're here to help. We're on fire. And you know what? And I thank you guys. Listen to what Doc is saying, because think about it. What if Noah would have waited until it was raining to build the ark? Y'all got to
Right.
stop waiting. You got to stop waiting. We waited. Too many people waited for the pandemic to happen before they started looking for toilet tissue. You
My
got you
God.
gotta be faster. You gotta be quicker than that. You remember that commercial? You gotta be quicker than that. Let's make it happen, people.
Kendra, I want to appreciate you. We'll do this again. We will,
Absolutely.
yeah, we will definitely do this again. I got to bring you back. I'm sure there are going to be some requests for you anyway. So uh, we'll get you back and we'll go deeper into
Sure.
this stewardship edition. It's been absolutely amazing. Listen, any
Absolutely.
final words? Because I'm getting ready to close us out and
Oh
meet you in the
no.
blue room.
Good night, everybody. I enjoyed you all, and let's make some changes in 2020. We're heading into 2021. We're less than 60 days away from a new year. Let's go into the new year with a new mindset, a new vision, new dreams, new ideas, and a bigger and better financial foundation. Good night.
All right. I'll see you in a moment, Kendra. Thank you
All right.
again. All right, Emerge. Listen, we have experienced some amazing information tonight. You can again go to the www.emergelive.network, make that appointment, get your consultation so that we can move from where we are into generational wealth. It's been wonderful. I love you, Emerge. I'll see you soon.